Pedal to the Metal podcast with your hosts, the Eroica and Heil68. Strap one on, boys.
Hey System Wars, we are back with another Pedal to the Metal podcast. We are so excited that you guys are joining us yet again for another one of these little adventures through the forum and the gaming world and the community, and we're very happy to have you. I am the Eroica, and I am joined here today with the man to my left, Mr. Heil68.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Glad you could all make it here listening to us. We appreciate the listeners and the feedback we're getting. And a reminder to anybody that wants to be on the show to shoot Eroica or myself a PM or mention it in our thread, and we'll put you on the list and we'll have you on the show. We're joined here with our guest we had on our first podcast. He made such a big impression, Animal-Mother. He's joining us today. What's going on, Animal?
Hey guys, Animal-Mother here again. They've officially changed me to the studio and they're feeding me whiskey on a regular basis, so I cannot complain.
We're keeping him sharp. Well, we're very lucky today to be joined by one of the more fantastic members of the community at System Wars, and someone who's been around the forum for quite some time and games on all sorts of platforms and knows what he's talking about. We're here today with Mr. BPoole. BPoole, give it up.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back again.
Glad to have you here, man.
Glad to be here.
Hey guys, I have got some big news for you. Do you want to know what it is?
No, what is it?
Christmas? Is it Christmas time?
It's Christmas for the chosen elite gamers.
Who would that be?
That would be the Lems. Microsoft has just sent Pedal to the Metal the very first acknowledgement of the Xbox 720.
Oh my God.
We have actually an announcement for the Xbox 720, and we want to share. We don't want to hog it all for ourselves. We want to share it with the community.
So wait, you're telling me we have a world exclusive here on Pedal to the Metal?
Yeah, barn-busting exclusive.
Oh my
and it's
God.
not that Animal-Mother lost his virginity either, so it's that big a deal right now.
It's bigger than plastic ponies?
Close. It's close. But I'll tell you what, it really sounds from this commercial, because we did all get a chance to preview it, that Microsoft is listening to the fans, and they might be trolling a few of you too. So let's take a listen.
Have you ever touched a miracle? Have you ever wanted to taste a rainbow? Have you ever showered in Karaman's tears? Have you ever spoon-fed butthurt to an angry cow? Have you ever wanted to see Eddie Vedder bathe in jelly? Coming this holiday season, the chosen saviors of gaming's elite will. An experience that defies all that came before it. An experience that will fill the fractured and let down hearts of the PlayStation faithful for yet another generation. An experience that will again raise the bar for imitators to follow. Time has given us the printing press, the light bulb, and weapons of mass destruction. This holiday season, the world unites in the raising of man's new greatest creation. Godbox 720. More than rumors, more than life.
Man, that commercial was amazing. I don't want to say my tits are blown, but my tits are blown.
Yeah, I was really, really shocked that they went so big on this. I think that they really, truly know what gamers want, and they're going to give it no casual next box. It's just going to be straight God box. What do you think, Kyle?
I don't know. I just had this subliminal fail station in the back of my mind. I don't know what causing that, but maybe it's subliminal message Microsoft sent into lose focus of the PS4. I'm not sure.
You know what? And the other thing too is anyone else wanting a Skittle right now?
I
would taste a rainbow.
Yeah, I don't know, something about Skittles. I want them right now. Well, we are here today to talk games, and we are ready to jump right in. We want to start today with a small conversation about someone who just resigned from the gaming industry. And we're talking about the EA CEO and Animal-Mother. I'm going to let you say his name because you're the pro at it.
John Riccitiello.
Good
Good,
God, spelling bee champion, right?
good Italian name. Riccitiello. We're gonna eat some pasta.
So
Prego.
I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this now mega publisher, mega developer? The CEO resigns, moves on to greener pastures. What do you think the ramifications are of this? Do you think that it was, something that was forced by the fact that EA is not doing maybe as well as they would like? I mean, let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Once that was announced, I looked it up, and the average lifespan of a CEO is 8.4 years as of 2011. So John was there for 6 years, so he was really, not too far under the normal curve. I know their earnings were a little soft, and then they had some bad releases of games. Most notably would be the Knights of the Old Republic MMO, and recently SimCity. So I don't know. What do you think, BPoole? Do you think it was all earnings driven, or is this time to go? Or
I mean, like you said, he was almost at the average lifespan of a CEO, and I also think that their EA is obviously going to be want to push more into the mobile markets, and maybe it just might be time to get somebody else in there to lead them into that market. But another thing I was reading earlier that I thought was pretty interesting was that back in 2007, when he took office, EA's stock price was around $60 a share, and today it's down to 18.
Wow.
So it's declined significantly.
I think that says a lot
under
right
him.
there.
So between the Old Republic and all their money grabbing schemes like online passes and microtransactions and all those wonderful things they've contributed to the industry, their stocks have still been dropping, and obviously their investors are not pleased. So I'm sure they had a big role in getting him out of there because he's losing them money.
Do you guys think? And I don't mean to cut you off, and I want to hear what Animal thinks too. Do you think that the slipping of the stocks has to do with the landscape of gaming changing?
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe EA just can't hit those marks anymore and keep that stock where it is because gaming is a different landscape than it was 10 years ago.
Definitely. I mean, look at like your idea of a video game at the start of this generation. I mean, we were still, single player was like, that was like the main thing, and now look how much online is like just dominates everything. I mean, that's another thing EA did. Every game they launch has to have some sort of multiplayer component. I mean, that's a huge focus now.
Well,
and then just
to be fair, to go into this generation, I think Halo 2 kind of put multiplayer really for console wise, really put that into the stratosphere. But I agree with you. Ever since it's more and more microtransactions, more and more online, and the online pass I really didn't care for either. I mean, I kind of can't get the used games or GameFly. You have to pony up to $10 to play. The multiplayer, I really don't like that.
Yeah.
I think that they have to curb digital delivery. I mean, I completely understand. And the problem with a lot of the people on System Wars is, and I mentioned this the first podcast I was on, is games are expensive and they're $60. So it's a big investment. But these companies are to make money. They're there to make money and entertain us. And, we have to pay the price that they want us. Eventually, I think it'll come back and haunt them. I mean, a lot of the things Cliffy B's been saying lately is, we're heading towards another industry crash. But I think with the mobile market, I don't think it's EA that caused... Well, EA caused online passes, but I don't think it's EA that caused microtransactions. I mean, look at cell phones. You pay 99 cents, and that's it. And people will happily pay it because it's 99 cents.
Well,
it's a buck.
PC has its fair share, too. I mean, Team Fortress 2 is a prime example of that.
Well, a lot of the microtransactions on the PC side, those are free-to-play games. EA has been putting them in. Dead Space had it, and... I mean, EA is not the only ones doing it, obviously. I mean, Black Ops 2 just got microtransactions. Tomb Raider today just got microtransactions. But it's these $60, full games that are also getting this on top, whereas on PC, you have games like, Path of Exile and TF2, Tribes Ascend, PlanetSide 2.
PlanetSide 2. I just started playing that. That's a very good game.
Speaking of the Dead Space, I mean, they recently canceled that after $5 million in sales.
Well, that's
that's
a rumor.
So that's $300 million in sales of a video game, and that game got axed. $300 million.
Well, I mean, that's that's off of raw $60.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I
purchase.
mean,
That's not-
how much do you think
Yeah.
it costs to make that? Like
Yeah.
10, 20, 30
I
million?
think it's tough because we don't get to see the numbers that often.
Yeah.
And the thing is, listen, I know VG charts is unrespectable, but on other sources they seem to link up. And I think Dead Space 1 and 2 across 360 and PS3 had sold 5 million copies. Asking for a single entry in a franchise to sell 5 million, it's too much. It's just way too much.
That just blows my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
300 million in sales, or say 250, and the
Yeah.
game can't continue, gets canceled.
I mean, it's a very stupid
Cutthroat market.
limitation for EA to put on. Well, you're not making us $5 million worth of, $5 million copies worth of sales. You're discontinued. That's it. It's a silly model, and it's going to lead to a very big disruption in the video game industry where we will see things happen, and people will stop paying for the games.
I have a question for you all, and we'll start with the Eroica here. My question is, being that we just saw that Dead Space 3 got canceled with, if we reported right, 5 million in sales, do you think developers, or I should say publishers, are going to, not want to go for the new IPs in fear of losing money? And is that going to mean that indie games are going to be the ones pushing the new IPs forward? What do you think?
We need new IPs. It's essential.
Absolutely. Every generation is marked by a new IPs becoming prominent, but I actually have to question the logic in thinking that it sold 5 million and they canceled it. Was there anything else at work in that? I mean,
just didn't perform as well as they wanted it.
I mean, okay. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, especially if it sold 5 million and made that much money. But I don't know. I mean, back to your question, I don't think that in the heart of a game developer I don't think that it trends towards them wanting to make several sequels to one game. I think that certain games are definitely a labor of love for a lot of developers, and I think that there's a lot of care and time, and I think Animals is painted this picture very well that maybe we glaze over about how many hours and months and years and sacrifices in people's lives go on for us to get these AAA high scoring games. But I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be any waning on a publisher's point about IPs. I think IPs drive a generation. I think everybody's looking to make that next Uncharted or that next Mass Effect or that next game that puts a staple on a generation. And I don't know that gamers would stand for just rehash after rehash. I think we'd all be sick of franchise fatigue at this point.
I'm reading one link here, and they're saying that I just looked it up. It says the 360 that's only a 360. Managed to sell 510,000 copies worldwide since its release on February 5th, and this article was dated March 5th, so that's a month. So that's nowhere near 5 million. So I don't
think it. I was going to say this earlier. I don't think it sold 5 million. That EA said it had to sell 5 million in order for them to succeed. In order for them to keep that
makes a lot more
alive.
sense.
I don't think it did. I mean, even right now, you can go on Origins on PC, and Dead Space 3 is $30.
And here they are trying to make up for the whole SimCity debacle by giving people half-price games. And I think that shows bad taboo on EA. But, Eroica, I have a really good question for you. You talk about the new IPs, and those are what drive the consoles. It's like, I mean, why do we buy our Xboxes? Why do we buy our PS3s? We buy them for the IPs that are specific to them.
That's true.
I bought my PS3 for Metal Gear Solid 4 and the next Final Fantasy and the next Devil May Cry when it was still exclusive at the time. It's becoming a very, how do I put this? Best said in The Lost World by Michael Crichton. The thing is, when we have such immediate access to everything, culture becomes devalued. So we don't have any identifiers anymore to identify these consoles. I mean, think about it. It's like he says there's a McDonald's in Japan, so it takes away from culture. The thing is, everything's becoming a multiplat. You have 3 or 4 new IPs for a system in a generation, and that's it.
I agree. I definitely see your point as far as, a high percentage of people jump into a specific console because of a specific franchise or some beloved game that I jumped into the Xbox 360, truth be told, because of BioWare support at the beginning of the generation. I'm not a PC gamer. BioWare was only putting games out on the Xbox at that time. So that's why I jumped in. So, I mean, I definitely can see your point. I think for me, and maybe it's just getting back to gamer tastes, I am in love with new IP. If it was up to me, I would say that you're not allowed to make more than 2 sequels in a generation before you had to make something new, because I like the stories, man. I like when people spin a tale and give me new characters and give me new things. Games like Mass Effect that come out and act as a trilogy, of course you get excited to play through that story, but after that, give me something new.
Oh, I want to ask an inflammatory question. Do you think that Call of Duty caused this?
$1 billion. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, Call of Duty definitely brought in a lot of people that weren't necessarily interested in video games into the gaming market. And I think for the most, I mean, obviously some have branched out, but I mean, just off of what I think is many people, they play other games and it doesn't do this like Call of Duty and it doesn't do that like Call of Duty, so I don't want it. What all these other publishers are trying to do is make it so when they play these games, they're not saying that. I mean, I played Far Cry 3's co-op mode the other day, and I mean, I loved the single player for that game. That was great. The co-op mode on that is you get a freaking, I call them virtual pats on the back every time you do something. I mean, you kill one guy, headshot, long distance shot, double kill, anything you can imagine. You are just, I mean, they may as well say congrats, you're walking when you're running in that game. I mean, it's like playing Call of Duty on a tropical island versus AI. And I mean, obviously that's not going towards all games, but even with I remember Capcom had put out a statement with I think it was Resident Evil 6. They said that we would love to capture the Call of Duty audience with this game.
We even Halo 4 put a perk system in. I mean,
yeah, a lot of games, Uncharted 2 and 3's multiplayers are heavily influenced from Call of Duty. In Uncharted 2, they even have in the credits, they thank Infinity Ward.
I mean, it's just hard to ignore $1 billion in sales.
Oh yeah, when you have a game that's selling 20 million, and GTA does similar numbers, but look how difficult it is to make a game like GTA versus taking little implementations from Call of Duty and putting them into your game.
You bring up GTA, and I really love. I don't know which guy from Rockstar said it, because if we put out a game every 2 years, it would ruin the IP, and I just made them smile.
And getting back to Animal's question, I don't know if Call of Duty is the catalyst that made publishers release game after game after game and cash in as much as they can and model after Call of Duty, but I definitely think Call of Duty has had this massive impact on not just the business methods that publishers and developers are going after, but also, as we're talking about currently, the way that we actually ingest our games.
It's almost like for the PC MMO, it's like the WoW. I mean, everyone who brings a MMO to the table, besides Korean ones, and those are grindfest, but any American one shoots for the WoW number, because 10 to 11 million subscriptions times $15 a month, that just makes their eyes light up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's fair to just pin it all on Call of Duty. I mean,
I don't either.
I think it's just just the natural progression of the industry and how much is expanded into mainstream. I mean, even on my PS2, it was like I'd have a girl over my house and she'd see my PS2, like, oh, you play video games? Like it was some like oh, I can't believe, taboo, like this huge stigma against gamers. But now we're getting into
it's a very open world now.
Yeah,
I mean, you see the cosplayers at Comic-Con and they're like, oh, you play video games? That's fucking amazing.
Well, everybody knows that PS3 is a chick magnet, but anyway.
Oh, come on.
I got my PS3. Funny thing is, I actually I was dating a girl back in 2007, and we broke up, and I thought that I was like, all right, well, I may as well just buy a PS3, so I actually bought that as a result of figuring I'd have so much time on my hands, because I broke up with this girl, but then we ended up getting back together.
So anyway, what do you guys think about the new IPs then? I mean, who's going to spend the money to give us these IPs? I mean, with Sony's conference, we saw Knack, we saw the driving game by Drive Club.
Drivers Club or something.
Our publishers just going to be scared to death to hand out the money, and does that just leave the door wide open to indie developers?
Ubisoft's already, they did with Watch Dogs. They've already, obviously, they're slating that to be their Assassin's Creed of next gen. I know in the 6th gen, and they had Prince of Persia. That was their game. I think they had 3, maybe 4 games.
Oh yeah, they're planning a multi-release of that Watch Dogs.
Oh yeah,
I think Watch Dogs looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks like an incredible game.
Depends how scripted it is too.
That too. But I like, what I like that we're moving into with next gen. I like the persistent world stuff that we're seeing. Because what the thing is, gaming used to be a very, very personal experience for all of us. I mean, because people, you mentioned you had a girlfriend. She's like, "Oh, you're playing PS2." Well, fuck that bitch. But anyways,
I did.
An animal single, living at home in his race car bed.
I know, and that's fine by me. You see that everyone's a part of it now, and aside from your regular experience, your single player experience, people are a part of that, and I see that. Heil, you have a Wii U. Have you played New Super Mario Brothers U at all?
Yeah, I played that. It's a great game.
I mean, have you noticed like the Miiverse stuff that pops up? It's like, oh, this game is hard, or look for tips here, or look for tips there. It's very cool how everyone's interacting with everybody, because you'd expect it to be a lot meaner, but it's actually pretty nice.
Well, Nintendo they're restrictive of what you can write and what you can't write, and I still think they're terrified of having a voice chat. I mean, if you hear what's ever coming over Xbox Live and PSN and PC players, I mean, I just can't imagine those guys in Nintendo thinking this is a good thing for them. But we'll see, I guess.
Well, have you guys even seen on like Steam, if you go, you say you click on a game, like I don't know, I'll click on Portal 2 right now, and have you guys gone to the community hubs on there?
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah, you can see how many people are playing, and then like if someone has they had like a cool screenshot or something, it can go on there for everyone who's playing that game can see it. You can ask a question about it. Oh, I'm stuck at this part. And you can have other people comment on that. And I haven't looked at them extensively, but I haven't seen anything like as far as people just being dicks and stuff. Like most of it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, and actually our last 2 guests, Oreo Milkshake and Drops of Jupiter, that was kind of a big talking point for them, was about how they thought that the Miiverse was a new take on online gaming, and that I know that they were finding some value in it. So.
Absolutely.
Sony's going to be pushing, they, even with all their social media integrations and all that stuff, like you saw like that feed thing on your homepage on PSN of what all your friends are doing. Like, Steam has that too now. If you go to community and go to friends, it says, Broken Oath is playing this game, or he earned these achievements, and so-and-so posted these screenshots. It's very, I don't know, it's kind of, I think that stuff's kind of cool. I just hope it doesn't turn into like Facebook and Twitter spam where it's like, oh my God, I had such a long day today, because I don't give a shit about that stuff, but if you're talking just about games, obviously that is of interest.
Well, there are features that these console makers now in the new space of having online gaming, that there are definitely features that they toss out from time to time, and it's kind of throwing shit against the wall and hoping some of it sticks and catches 3D. On 3D.
Access control,
Sony Home, little things like that. And not everything has to work, but I agree. I think that, but it all comes down to your level of interaction. There it is again. Our own personal styles of gaming. You look at a casual gamer that might interact a great deal with the page. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sony page looked a little like Windows 8.
Oh yeah.
It does.
There's going to be a market. I don't want to say the word market, but there's going to be a demographic of people that find value in having that information. People, I think, more like us that are destination gamers. We turn on our consoles to play games, and that's our main priority. Might not find so much, but it'll be interesting to see what plays out.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely have something there for everybody. They're they can do enough with the machines even now with all the features and apps that PS3 and 360 have even added to keep up with the trends and society that people value, like adding Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff. And while that stuff doesn't really interest me, I'm sure there are people that think that's really cool that they can look at their Facebook on their TV.
I think it also falls in line with a lot of the overarching hope for what these consoles are becoming, and I know Microsoft has said it on several occasions, and I'm pretty sure that Sony has implied it also, and maybe even Nintendo to an extent, but they want to be more than just a video game console in your living room. They want to control the living room, and
I think Sony's trying to be the gaming console in the living room, while Microsoft is trying to be more than that. And as much as I like Microsoft, I think they're really going to shoot themselves in the foot this gen with trying to be too much in the living room. Like, oh, we'll offer you this, we'll offer you MLB, we'll offer you Hulu, and this and this and this, and we see how many studios they've gutted.
Yeah, and like in regards to like what you were talking about with the Hulu thing, a couple of weeks ago I bought. Do you guys know what a Roku is?
Yeah, I have a Roku too.
Yeah, I just bought a Roku 2 XD.
Yep.
For the TV in my room. I had never heard of that thing. That is amazing. I mean,
I've had it for a couple years now. They actually just released a Roku 3 that actually has a little headphone jack on the controller. Which my wife and I looked at each other like, how can this be the first time that they thought of this? Because
I know that's awesome.
Genius.
Yep.
But when we bought it, we set it up in our bedroom, and we actually canceled cable, and we save $100 a month not having to pay for cable. And because we have Hulu and we have Netflix, and I do the MLB summer ticket and all that stuff, because I'm a big baseball fan, and Amazon Prime, I think we pay a total of maybe $20 a month now, where we used to be paying $160.
Yeah.
And we get everything that we want, but the whole device itself is like a cable killer.
Yeah. But mine costs $70 for that.
Yeah.
And that has all the apps. I mean, I think it has like 600 some channels on it.
Yep.
What it comes down to, though, is I think that's why Microsoft got into the console business personally, is because they saw 120 million PS2s in people's, or whatever it was, 100 million consoles in people's living room, and by God, they want that PC, they want that central box, they want the operating system, they want that license, and everybody is going to it. Even with the Wii U, there's a TV app on it where you can switch the channels with your TV, and the recorder is coming for it soon, so everybody wants the main cable box that everybody uses for TV, entertainment, and video games.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I brought up the Roku, though, is because, that's there's even a $50 version. Yeah. And that, if you're not interested in games, that does everything that an Xbox is going to do besides the games. It even has little casual.
And you don't need to pay $60 a year to use it.
Exactly. No. It's whatever subscriptions you want, but it also has, I don't know if you guys follow the giantbomb.com at all. Like they do like quick looks and stuff. They have their own channel on there. You can watch all their reviews, all their quick looks, all their interviews, all of that right on your TV. So instead of having to sit at my desk and do
it's
that,
free.
It's free. I can just, when I go to bed at night, I just have that and just watch a game. Like the other night, I watched the God of War Ascension. They played the first 30 minutes of that, and I'm never gonna sit at my desk and do that.
And actually, the Giant Bomb one has been on since the beginning, and Machinima has a channel on there, and IGN just got a channel on there.
Yep.
Game Trailers just got one too.
Did they? I got to look that up. But it is rather genius. But let me pose this question to you: Microsoft, for better or worse, is not usually, in my opinion, has not been a company that has just thrown something out there without having at least an initiative to try to change the landscape of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is this new Xbox that could potentially have this TV tuner in it? Are we looking at a revolution of cable television?
No, that revolution already happened. I'm sorry, I hate to kill your buzz, but it already happened with Roku and the Xbox, because the second they started offering apps like CNN and CBS, where you could pay $5 a month and apply to any channel, that revolution happened. Sorry.
Well, no, I guess what I was going to say, like when I watch, say, like the CNN, Fox News, something to get a little bit of news, I'm watching 60-second to 3-minute, 4-minute clips. I'm not watching anything live.
That's what I was going to ask. Are there any live channels that all record?
There are.
You can do live audio on a lot of the news channels.
There's some private channels too. Like there's this one. It's called Nowhere TV.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, I've been watching some of that stuff. They do, like This Week in Technology and stuff. Like they have like PC hardware. They were talking about the PS4, and I don't know. I mean, this is a little X-rated. I don't know if you want to put this in, but they have one for porn that has Pornhub, Xvideo, all those tube sites, and you can stream that shit right on your TV.
At a cost, though?
No, it's free.
Free porn? Sign me up.
Yeah, they have it in horizontal categories. They say the category.
Horizontal categories.
I've had that fucking channel for a year, and I haven't watched a single second of porn.
I have the 2XD, and it's awesome so far. It's just it's a HDMI plugs right into your TV, and you have all that stuff.
It's always on. It's always on. It's always connected. And actually, you never shut it off. You just shut your TV off, and you turn it back.
It turns off with it.
Right back.
And you can they have an app for your I can use my iPhone as a remote control.
Yep.
And I can also, if I have videos on my phone, I can play them on my TV, and same with music. So if you have like a stereo system set up and you have some people over, you can control all your music.
It's kind of like AirPlay with Apple TV and iPads.
It's an Apple TV. That's exactly what it is.
Yep.
That's the greatest thing. I bought a sound bar.
That's my, I don't have, lots of people over, and I don't have like a big, living room environment type thing, but that gives me everything I would need for the living room entertainment hub, and that thing's smaller than the size of my palm.
Yep.
So, they're, Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo, they're chasing after these things, but they're launching, $300, $400, or $500 consoles, right, when I can pay $50 to $100 and get all that stuff minus the games. So them chasing after this casual crowd with all these social apps and TV cable boxes, that there's already a much cheaper box that does all of that. And the people that don't want the games, they don't need to buy those boxes. So I think Microsoft focusing solely on that is a big mistake, because anyone that's, actually researches that stuff, because the whole reason I got that was because I don't have a cable link in my room. I had just gotten that TV a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking on how to get Netflix in there, and I came across the Roku. And I was like, this is everything that I need, and now I have it. So if I didn't, I have a PS2 hooked up to it right now, but as far as non-gaming entertainment, that small little box gives me everything that a freaking $400 Xbox or PS4 is going to give me aside from games.
Is it possible that, and I don't know how licensing works with TV, the cable model, and I think, Poole just kind of laid out basically, in my opinion, what I discovered, a year ago, and what sounds like he just discovered a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, is that the modern model for watching cable television is it's on the clock. It won't be around like this much longer.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Oh, and the cable companies know it too.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at, my wife and I looked at our bill that first month, and we were laughing our asses off. We went from paying $160 a month down to paying like $40 a month just for internet. Yeah. And and we were still watching all of the shows that we watch. We were getting more because we had all that extra content coming in through Amazon and Hulu and Netflix, and we were paying pennies on the dollar compared to cable TV, which we barely watch because we're destination watchers. So I guess my larger point is, could Microsoft be launching something that might be similar in scope to what Roku is doing, but maybe in a different capacity, maybe a pay for channel type of a service, a streaming, I want to watch ESPN, because that's something that the Roku doesn't offer. I can't watch ESPN. I can't watch the History Channel. I can't watch the Discovery Channel. Those are three channels I enjoy watching. Is it possible Microsoft, delving into this TV tuner world, could be trying to revolutionize cable TV from that capacity, that, I'm going to pay $20 for the year to have the History Channel. I'm going to pay, you know what I'm saying?
I completely understand. I don't think, as much as I love Microsoft and what they're probably going to be doing right now, I don't think they'll revolutionize it because of things like Roku and Hulu and Amazon, because what's going to run through the box? Hulu and Amazon are going to run through the box, and you're going to have, it's essentially going to become a gaming dedicated Roku player, where you can play disc games. You can go to GameStop or Best Buy and buy your games, and you'll have your apps. And you guys are absolutely right. The day of the cable box is phasing out. It's got a very short window left. I'd say I wouldn't be surprised if the next 10 years the cable box was absolutely gone.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
I agree with that 100%.
Well, even what I love about the Roku is no freaking commercials. I hate commercials.
Yep.
And I can watch. Also what I do is I don't sit down. I watch The Walking Dead, and I don't want to. I mean, I work on Friday nights. I miss it every week, but I don't want to sit down and watch one episode. I want to binge watch 5 episodes. So when I was getting caught up on that, I want to watch a big chunk at once, and I don't want to have, even if you do the on demand, because I have Comcast. They cut it out with tell you it's on AMD and show you other shows on AMD and all that crap.
AMC.
Sorry, AMC. Yeah. Sorry.
AMD.
Well, how does that work
Yeah,
though?
then-
Do they AMC as a channel or what?
No, it's just through
That's
Netflix.
on Netflix.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. They have the
There's
newest
no,
episodes every week.
No, it's last
this
season.
is still. I mean, yeah, there still needs to. They still need to. It's not completely up to date. I mean, they only have up to season 2.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
gotcha. I would
Yes.
miss some shows that I'm current on. I don't know if I'd
Yeah,
like
see,
to
that's
be...
what it's not a full alternative. But another thing is, I don't even know if you know about this erotica. I'm just gonna say that. They have there's this, if you have a iPhone or Android phone, there's a separate browser you can get. It's called Twonky. You can go into that, and if you can find one of those free streaming sites, it's called beaming. You can beam stuff to your TV. And you can also do it with YouTube, because there's no YouTube channel. So I can browse videos on my phone and then beam it to my TV and watch a YouTube video there. And I can also do it because I've been getting caught up on season 5 of Breaking Bad.
Great show.
Yeah, I can go in there, and instead of watching it on my TV, I can still watch it on my Roku, but I just use my phone to stream it through there onto the Roku. So I can still get current shows as long as I can find them online.
Oh, and you bring up a really good point. You like to watch things in big chunks.
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason why cable is going to be phased out soon enough, because think about it. It's like watching a movie. People don't want to wait week to week anymore to see what happens in next week's episode.
Yeah. And especially when they do Walking Dead does a freaking cliffhanger every
episode. It was the first season of Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Every episode, I was like, I can't wait till next week. I want to watch it. And the internet allows us to do that. And people won't wait and blah, blah, blah. And
The only weakness that I see right now in the streaming app, and maybe it doesn't relate directly to gaming, but it seems as though through rumors, and they are just rumors, nothing is etched in stone until Microsoft says it is, but the only weakness I see in it currently is you have to be a destination watcher. If you're a channel surfer, it's not. I don't think it's work. Not really for you. And the other thing is that there's not a significant presence in athletics and sports, at least nothing that I've seen.
That's licensing money they'll probably never get either.
Right. I mean, like I said, I have the MLB app on my Roku. I have the MLB app on my PlayStation 3. I have the MLB app on my Xbox. And I don't have cable. So there's not a TV in the house that I can't watch my MLB on. But and that's the only sport I really like. And that's why I was willing to do it. But if you're a destination watcher, it's great. If you're a channel surfer, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just the way we evolve. Not evolve. I sound like a fucking Darwinist. Jesus. It's you know what it is? It's the way we've learned to consume products. Because if you don't mind revealing a bit of information, I'm 25, and you guys are a bit older than me.
I'm young,
and you're younger than me.
Yeah.
But even for me and you, BPoole, the way we used to consume information is very different than the way we do it now. And that's the thing Eroica's talking about. It's all this power watching. We need to have it all in the snap of a finger. Yep. And I think that's the problem with a lot of the games industry too, is now that they're taking out portions of the game, they're starting to upset people. And it's like, oh, DLC. And because remember, DLC was originally supposed to be episodic content. And taking out portions of games, I'm going to wheel it back into games and System Wars now. That's why you see so many people upset. Because it's like, oh, how much of the game did they take out of this? EA did it kind of well with Dead Space 3. They didn't mention it till like a few weeks after the game came out. They're like, oh, are you guys ready for the darkest chapter of Dead Space 3? Whereas some companies are like, well, get ready for an expansion pack we've been working on.
Yeah, but like the people that complain about DLC though, that I've noticed, if a game has DLC, people complain and say, oh, it should have been in the game. Oh, this is milking. But then you have a game like Demon's Souls that never got DLC, and you just have people standing there saying, oh, where's the DLC? I want more of this game. So it's like either way, people are going to be bitching.
Yeah, and I think they did the right move with Dark Souls, where they released the DLC almost a full year later. Everyone loved it. I mean, that DLC added another 5 or 6 hours of the campaign.
Oh, yeah,
and added a significant amount of content.
Mm-hmm. That's how it should be done. And I think I've said this before in the past. Bethesda, aside from Horse Armor, they have done a great job with DLC. I mean, I haven't played the Skyrim stuff, but all the Oblivion and the Fallout expansions, most of those were very good. And we're 2 to 3 hours long, and it was quality content.
Substantial too. It was quality, and it had a lot of it. I mean, I didn't really. I'm going to get a lot of backfire for this. I didn't really like Oblivion. I thought it was a little too RPG for me, where it was like, oh, everything into stats and numbers and.
Yeah.
I love Skyrim, though, so I love Skyrim to death. But I thought Fallout 3 had some of the best DLC I've ever played that really expanded upon the game in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
Fallout 3 is a great game.
I love that game.
I cannot wait until Fallout 4.
Oh, dude, I can't either.
Oh, my God.
Is that their next project?
There was a teaser a couple months ago about
Really?
it taking place in Boston.
Yeah, it's in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
And the voice actor who does Three Dog, the radio DJ, he had released some information, said something. I forget what it was specifically.
Yeah, I can't remember specific.
There's one thing I really want to talk about that happened last week. The Joachim Mogren review with Geoff Keighley. The Phantom Pain stuff.
Oh, I didn't. Was that the interview or whatever?
That was the interview, the guy with the bandages on his face.
I did not see that.
There's a conspiracy theory going around on System Wars. No. Now they're saying that he's CGI because the Fox engine do that so well.
Oh, jeez.
But everything, big week next week, guys. GDC is next week. Pay attention.
Bioshock Infinite.
Oh my God! Guys, don't ask me to be on next week. I will come to wherever you live, and I don't know.
Drink whiskey with us.
Yeah, sure. I'll shoot the if we can slay. You know what I mean?
What the fuck? What do we do?
I have one last question before we wrap up today, and it's a question that I've actually been thinking about. And Heil, you and I were having a conversation the other day, and it kind of popped into my head because we were discussing it on Skype. This generation is technically now over, given that the Wii U has released.
Yep.
But we're talking Gen 7 here. What, in your opinion, was the game that came the closest to what you would call perfection?
Uncharted 2.
Dark Souls.
This is really tough for me. I played a lot of games this generation. It was close to the perfect game.
Ooh, time's out. Sorry. We'll do the Jeopardy time thing there. And
I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna go with. Come back to me, please.
Okay. I'm going to jump on this because I felt very strongly about this since I played this
Mass
game.
Effect, what?
No, I'm not going to say.
Oh.
No, I know you want me to, don't you? That would be my thing.
I was gonna guess.
Portal 2.
Portal 2.
I was going to say Portal 2.
Yeah, Portal 2 is as close to perfect of a video game that I've played maybe over the last 2 generations.
Yeah, I mean there's literally nothing bad you can say about that game.
Yeah,
it's in every facet of it was done perfectly. The writing, the story, the level design, the puzzles,
the co-op, I think they even gave us a free DLC at some point too.
Yep. And I know you don't have the PC version, but they have community-made levels, and people have even created their own little mini series where it'll be like a series of 8 test chambers, and they've even done like GLaDOS's dialogue for it. So they'll write their own little side thing, and I haven't played it in a while, but I played through some of those with my buddy, and those were, for user-made stuff, those were very well done.
Yeah, that was a game that I walked away from every single time I shut my Xbox off and playing that game. I said to myself, nothing but positive things. I mean, it's such a good game.
I do that in my GameFly queue, so we're going to play that soon. You're right.
I completely agree with you. Just to toss it up a little bit here, because I solely agree with you, but just to throw in an extra game that people might not notice, Batman Arkham City.
That was excellent too.
That Batman Arkham City was a hop, skip, and a jump above the first one. People were saying, how are they going to do this? And they blew people away. The narrative, the combat, the exploration, the traversal, everything about it was almost perfect. It was just so, it was everything everyone wanted in a sequel.
Yeah.
And when you see people talk about it, they never say, oh, it sucked terribly. They just go, well, I'm not really into it. And I think that's a really endearing thing when you just say, I'm not into the game, rather than the game sucked.
Yeah.
You're crazy, bats.
That's one of those games that when you see it brought up even on System Wars, no one bashes that.
Yeah.
No.
Same
Combat
with
is so good.
Same with Portal 2.
Same with Portal, and same with the Souls games. No one says shit about them.
Same with Uncharted 2. It's top 5 game of all time.
You really think that?
I don't think that's what Metacritic says.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
That bursted quite a couple barns, didn't it?
Well, actually, as of all time on Metacritic, let's see.
It's at
Load.
96.
Ocarina of Time is the highest. That's 99.
Top.
Or unless you're going this gen only, and then I think does Halo 3 beat it? Does that have 97?
No, Halo's not. It's not even in the top 10.
Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
I couldn't stand the first one. I tried the first one and I didn't like it. I got like 20 stars in, and I even went to the launch and I got the special coin, and I just didn't like that at all. I didn't even bother getting 2. I don't know about you guys, but
Both of them got a 97 that beat Uncharted.
A bunch of games we posted on there are on that list. I don't know where Portal 2 is.
Portal 2's
Both
for the PC and for the consoles are sitting at 95.
that's
So they're
fair.
They're 1 point below that big string of 96s where you got Resident Evil 4 and BioShock and Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we want to take a moment here and just give a special thanks to BPoole for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Thank you, man. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. We also would like to say thank you to The Animal-Mother for joining us for yet another podcast. We love his presence on the show. Animal-Mother, thank you.
17 free Dota keys.
And
And free whiskey next week. Cheers.
And I also want to turn it over to my co-host, Heil68. As always, we love him on the show and his opinions. So, Heil, thank you.
Hey, yeah, thanks. And reminder to everybody, if you want to be on the show, to drop us a line and we'll put you on the list and we'll get you on. We also take suggestions and try to implement them as soon as possible. So, and I'm still working on a new hobby too. So hopefully I'll have something to report next show.
Oh, if you also come on the podcast, you have to strap one on.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
I recommend porcelain donkeys or horses, and I probably sell you a yak or two
I would love it.
if you'd be interested in that.
This was another Pedal to the Metal. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Porcelain donkeys